Let's go to Parliament because President Akufo-Addo has told Parliament he is unable to sign some crucial bills passed by Parliament into law due to some constitutional issues. In July, Parliament passed bills abolishing the death penalty and prescribing accusation of witchcraft, as well as criminalizing the work of witch finders. But in a letter to the Speaker of Parliament read to the House, President Akufo-Addo argued the bills imposed a charge on the Consolidated Fund, and such bills must come from the executive and not as from private members. The President says the government will soon present such bills on the same subject before Parliament.
I'm writing to you in reference to our meeting held on 28th November 2023 at my office, where we discussed the outstanding bills presented for assent, namely the Criminal Offences Amendment Bill 2023, the Criminal Offences Amendment Number 2 Bill 2023, and the Armed Forces Amendment Bill 2023. During our conversation, I raised specific constitutional concerns regarding these bills related to Article 108 of the Constitution, particularly the nature of these bills, which were introduced into Parliament as private members' bills, rather than being presented by or on my behalf. I appreciated the opportunity to engage with you in a meaningful dialogue about these critical legislative matters and valued your insights on the subject. As I indicated, the contents of these bills have my support, but we need to ensure that they are enacted in line with established constitutional and legislative processes. Thus, after thorough consideration and in light of the constitutional issues I pointed out during our meeting, I am unable to assent to these bills. The concerns raised are significant and have profound implications for the constitutional integrity of these legislative actions. Any legislation we pass must be in complete alignment with the provisions of our Constitution. I intend to have these bills reintroduced in Parliament on my behalf in due course. I thank you for your cooperation in this matter. Yours sincerely, Nana.
And still in Parliament, Minister for Education Dr. Duchum has defended the government's decision to reopen senior high schools barely a week after school placement was released. This decision generated some controversy, with teacher unions kicking against the decision, whilst Parliament last week urged the minister to reconsider the decision. By providing a briefing on the situation to MPs on the matter, the minister cited the early release of the harmonized prospectus as well as the desire to revert the academic calendar on track as part of the reason why this decision was taken and why they refused to reverse the decision. The minority were not impressed with the response of the minister.
Last week, Parliament had urged the Education Minister to reconsider that decision to let students reopen barely a week after the placement had been done. The minister did not oblige. Today, he has been providing some answers in terms of why exactly his ministry had to do that. He's been explaining that government wants to bring back the academic calendar back on track.
For the first time, the Ministry of Education, with its relevant agencies and stakeholders, developed a national harmonized prospectus for all senior high school and TVET students. And the same was published in the Daily Graphic on November 15th, 2023. The purpose of the publication was, among other things, to give parents ample time to buy the prospectus items and get their hours ready for school on December 4th, 2023. When these timelines are strictly followed, the contact hours will be duly achieved, and our quest to get back to the pre-COVID academic calendar will be on track. Last year, school opened in February for first-year students. This year, we are opening in December, which gives us the opportunity to then open October or September and therefore go back to the pre-COVID calendar as we all are envisaging.
But clearly the minority are not happy with the responses the minister has given.
Shortening the process, introducing a harmonized prospectus, well and good. But What quantum of money does a parent need to be able to buy all the items on the harmonized prospectus? So, Speaker, even the cost of a chop box, I'm not even talking about a trunk, is more than 200 Ghana cedis. And we are not even going to go through the list and talk about every single item. By my own rough estimates, at the very minimum, a parent will not require less than 3,000 Ghana cedis. Minimum, I say minimum, Mr. Speaker, minimum threshold.
As for this return to the pre-COVID era, I don't know why the sudden rush. You have not been in any hurry at all to return to the pre-COVID calendar. Even in terms of the final exams, we are no longer writing WASI with our colleagues in Gambia, Sierra Leone, Liberia, and the rest. Now is GASI, and you are not in a hurry to move from GASI. Speaker, I'm urging him that please let him extend the time for the public, particularly those who have had their children and relatives who have had an opportunity to go to these schools, to be able to organize enough and then so that they can be able to access this education of their choice.
On the majority side, however, the concerns generally has been that Parliament did not have the power to direct the minister in terms of what to do in running his ministry day to day. The concern has also been that the Education Ministry was right in taking that decision because of the urgent need to bring back the academic calendar on track.
And the students are in school already. The minister had given us the statistics of the number of students that had been placed. Unfortunately, we probably do not have the number of students that have reported at the various schools.
Clearly, this was not a sudden decision. This was not a sudden decision. But there is something important, Mr. Speaker, I want to point out here. We as a political class must know what to play politics with and what we should congregate around as a national issue.
Well, clearly the Minister for Education has not listened to the concerns that came from Parliament. He had decided that the decision to let school reopen should stand. And as we speak, some students have already started reporting to school, and it will be very difficult to go back on the decision that has been taken. And clearly, as both members on each side have been saying, there is the urgent need for the minister and as well as other governmental agencies to listen when Parliament speaks. Reporting for JoyNews, Kweku Asante, Parliament House, Accra.
Meanwhile, some parents and guardians of first-year senior high school students have called on government to move the reopening date to a later date to enable them prepare adequately to provide the needed prospectuses as they race against time to meet the school's deadlines.
A week after junior high school graduates received postings to senior high schools, the Ghana Education Service ordered them to report to school. Teacher unions and members of parliament have raised the objections to this decision. The GES, however, is defending its decision, insisting it wants to restructure the SHS academic calendar. Some parents say pooling resources to buy essential items for their first year's wards at short notice has left them stressed.
I'm sending him back home. I couldn't buy all of his items, so I have to go back home.
Aside from the short notice, parents are also questioning the urgency for their children to go to school when they will break for Christmas in just 2 weeks. Mary Gifty Nyachiga is a senior high school teacher. She's unhappy with the GES decision.
Looking at teachers staying on campus throughout the year because of how the curriculum has been structured for our kids, in fact, it's unbearable. It's unbearable, and I think, government have to look into it again.
A Form 1 male Achimota school student whose gender was altered to female by WAEC has yet to be corrected.
I chose St. James as my first choice, but the WAEC people changed my gender to female. So I couldn't choose a boys' school, a single-sex school, so I had to choose a mixed school. So when I chose the mixed school, I chose Achimota, and I'm now here.
More queues are expected at the premises of the various senior high schools in the coming days as parents and guardians rush to get their wards admitted.
In the Ashanti region, some guardians of newly admitted students in second cycle schools are prevailing on the government to consider an extension of the reopening dates. The parents say they are financially challenged to meet the needs of the awards in the preparation for school. Meanwhile, hundreds of non-placed students in and beyond the region continue to wait in line at the Regional Solutions Center to resolve their concerns.
Authorities at Kumasi Academy announcing specific items required of their newly admitted students. Students were to report to school on Monday. Unlike some senior high schools requiring an online admission, the fresh students are admitted manually. Moving in queues, the students are required to confirm their details at the various desks, after which they are offered accommodation.
Last Friday also, I came here. When you print the the result slips, the prospectus is added to, so all the things that we bought them and then we have brought them.
So meaning your son is ready to start school today?
Yes, my son is ready to do the science. He's ever ready. Today he woke up around 4 o'clock.
But other guardians are concerned about the reopening dates. They allude that financial challenges are impeding preparations for the awards.
I traveled from Tema. This has become a burden. They should consider reopening next month.
The
2 weeks now, I don't think my ward would really lend during this semester because this is the same period for admission.
I traveled from Sekribekwai to this place.
Next year, they should consider 3 weeks for preparation.
At the Regional Solutions Center, hundreds continue to wait in line to seek redress to issues pertaining to their school placement. Many are stranded after they visited the center in the previous week to have their concerns resolved. But a solution to their concerns is yet to see the light of day.
I came here on Thursday. I've been sitting here all morning, but we don't know what's happening.
My son had a Jesuman. He was offered today, but it's far from where we live, so it will be a challenge.
To 4 to 5 hours they be.
I came here with my children, but we have since not been served. We have other duties to attend to.
Over 100,000 of this year's BECE candidates were not placed through the computerized school selection and placement system. Out of the number, 61,375 have been placed through self-placement, with nearly 44,000 remaining to be placed nationally. Ashanti Regional Coordinator of the Free SHS Secretariat, Owusu Brobe, is assuring the stranded parents and students of immediate placements.
We had a little issue with our system. Now it has been resolved. So very soon, those who came here around Wednesday, Thursday, their issues are under control. So very soon, all the backlog will be cleared for students to get a place. They shouldn't panic and they shouldn't fall into these guru boys, pay money to fix them here and there.
For JoyNews, my name is Emmanuel Bright Kweku.